Talk a little spring football as the LSU Spring Football practices continue to roll right along. I believe Saturday's practice was a 15-minute open period. And at this point, really, one of the only things that you can see is maybe a bit. You can get a bit of insight into who is repping where, right? But then again, not at every position, because at quarterback, we do know that Jaden Daniels took the first team reps while Miles Britton was on the second team. However, that does line up with the preconceived rotation that Coach Kelly had laid out from the beginning. So you don't want to read too much into that. I do think it's interesting that Charles Turner's repping at the first team at center, because I do feel like he had the inside track to that job to begin with. And so maybe he is the one that will continue to watch it to see if he ends up emerging there.
Yeah, I thought the offensive line was, which may be the biggest question mark on the team. I thought it was interesting, the rotation that they had on there, T. And I know we've talked a lot about these guys, and Charles Turner's certainly somebody we've talked about a lot. He came in light, got to gain weight. He's moved positions. He's played all over the place. I mean, the UCLA game, he was playing tackle the entire second half because of injuries and other things, and now he's back at his natural position at center, which might be one of the biggest question marks on the team. I mean, you know how important that position is. And you've had someone in Shanahan who's, love him or hate him, whatever you thought about him, he still solidified that position for the last couple of years.
Yeah, so you had right now on the ones with the offensive line, it's kind of like pole position NASCAR race. You've got Cam Wire at your left tackle. You got the East Tennessee State transfer, Tremont Eat My Shorts at left guard, Charles Turner at center, Cardell Thomas at right guard, and Marcus Dumerville at right tackle. Will Campbell has also been working with the ones. And Xavier Hill, a guy that I actually played well at times last year, also played some left guard. Defensively, Mike Jones Jr. and Greg Penn taking first rep teams at inside linebacker. Isn't Greg Penn the one that everybody's been saying to, all the old heads have been saying to watch out for, maybe the next in line and what has just been a heater when it comes to inside linebackers at LSU?
So I can just tell you, personal conversation I had, we were sitting on the bench, me and Blake Baker, the linebacker coach last year. We're on the bench at Kentucky, and they're out there before like pregame warm-ups, but just out there kind of getting loose. And we were talking about some of the maybe position battles for the next season, and he's like, hey, watch him. Like I'm telling you, he goes, it's not quite there yet, but it's really close, and whenever it does happen, he's going to be a special one. I mean, that was, I didn't, we weren't having a conversation just about him, but he stopped the conversation, was like, hey, watch him, and kind of pointed out Penn. So I know the coaching staff from last year thought that he can make a pretty big step this year and be someone who is a starting linebacker.
I mean, how many NFL inside linebackers does LSU go in a row, had in a row right now? Who did you go back to? Did you go back to Kendall Beckwith, or is he even before Kendall Beckwith? But I mean, then you got Deion Jones, who had to buy his times. Of course, the Duke Riley story.
Yeah, Devin White
come
Patrick
in
Queen,
there.
Jacob Phillips.
Jacob Phillips. I mean, that is a position that LSU has been unreal at lately. Damone Clark making himself into a top draft guy and in the most incredible turnaround year I've ever seen. So Greg Penn already repping with the ones here, maybe a name to watch out for. But I mean, look, otherwise, not a ton. I think probably the most interesting thing that I read about when it came to LSU football this weekend was a breakdown of what these SWAT teams are. You heard Coach Kelly during his press conference the other week, and he just had a passing reference to SWAT teams. What these are spring/summer workout accountability teams. These are teams within the team that will each have a leader, and this ties into doing the daily wellness check-in forms and all of that, and you get points through various competitions. I mean, they straight up have a Hogwarts house type of situation where, like, I mean, I don't know, you do something good and Frank Wilson's like 10 points to Gryffindor, and then your SWAT team gets 10 points. I get it, man. Look, it breeds competition. The goal is to create positive habits through consistent action. That seems to be kind of a core philosophical point of what Brian Kelly wants to be here. I just want to know, I want somebody to get the inside juice on who exactly is on which SWAT team. I want a SWAT team scoreboard, and I want to know who the captains of each SWAT team are, so we kind of know where the coaches are thinking in terms of their leaders. Because that is generally also a breeding ground for captains under Brian Kelly. Like the guys that go on to be end up being captain of the team generally start as SWAT team leaders.
Everybody's got their thing. Everybody's kind of got their thing that they use. And obviously this is probably something he's had for a very long time. I mean, some schools give out helmet stickers. I was doing radio with I guess we have coming on later today, Aaron Murray, and he was showing his helmet. It's got like all these little dog bones.
I love those.
On the back of it. And I was, trying to ask him like, hey, like, how did you get one of those? And it was kind of like the same thing, like great play, point system, whatever it might be. And I'm all in favor of that, man. I'm all in favor, like you mentioned, of competition. And your peers, maybe if they're in a position you want to be on the SWAT team, like I'm okay with all that. I mean, football, we're meatheads. We love stuff like that. We're not ever going to put helmet stickers on the back of our helmets. So this is something you can do within practice, within scrimmages to create that competition. Yeah,
and I think it probably extends to, some sort of workout performance as well, academic performance. I think the goal of this SWAT idea is to be kind of holistic. Miles Brandon says, quote, "It's all about accountability. This whole thing's about being accountable and doing your job. If everyone does their job, we'll be just fine." I can't wait to get eyes on this team. I've not been able to go to practice. I think Tuesday we're finally going to be able to go.
Yeah, I know I'm heading out on Tuesday as well, but one thing that did stand out.
Kevin Minner as well. I forgot about him.
Hey, we did forget about Kevin Minner. That's your fault. That's your teammate. Bad teammate, too, Bob.
When did it make? Yeah, whatever. Get distracted. Go on.
You had 4 transfers go out there with the first team in the defensive backfield. That's pretty wild when you think about it. Like, so you had your safeties, your corners, your nickel were all guys that came in through the transfer portal. Garner, you had Bernard Converse, you had Foucha, you had Greg Book Jr. as well, playing the nickel position there. So.
And I don't love that. I don't love that.
Well, that's what it is, buddy. That was a position of weakness. You had to go out there. All of those players are dudes. Those aren't just guys. I mean, those are guys that have done it in the SEC, in the Big 12, other places. That's what it was. Look, you were incredibly weak at that position, so that's what it's going to be. But it's just fascinating to kind of see where you're at right now, and that's going to be what it is moving forward because. Look, and there's some other names that are returning LSU players, like some Todd Harris that have been here for a very, very long time. And there's others.
Still on the team.
Matthew Laneway also got some first-team reps. He's a young football player, only going to be a sophomore this year. But it's going to be those 4 guys from the transfer portal that are going to give you a bulk of your defensive backfield.
How many years has Todd Harris played college football?
7. I think 17. Jeez, I was trying to look it up right now as soon as I said his name. I think he's been here since 2017.
Oh, my God. Wow. That's awesome, man. Congrats to Todd Harris.
Like, Foucha is somebody, though, that, I mean.
Well, and they even Converse is what, Big 12? Was it Big 12?
First team all Big 12.
First team all Big 12. Yeah. And I thought he won some player of the year.
He might have. But, look, I mean, he's playing.
Yeah.
Both those guys, Foucha, they're playing.
Daniel Bash said, if it's really like Harry Potter, one team will win, and then Dumbledore will give points to Gryffindor until they win. Yeah. That's a moment that you love when reading the books as a kid, and so you're kind of like, it seems a little unfair there, Dumbledore. All right, when we get back, let's talk a little college basketball as my profits just continue to soar. It's unbelievable. Breaking Vegas happening right here in front of your eyes. Keep it locked off the bench.